A strong tropical wave bringing widespread showers and storms to our area now. And what does the first half of the month look like tropically in the Caribbean? Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi, my friends. Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather, and it's great to see you for this latest video. Hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, got a strong tropical wave in the Western Caribbean. It is bringing some hefty showers and storms and some flooding conditions to portions of our area. We'll look at that. I've got your island by island rainfall forecast, and we're going to deep dive into what it looks like tropically across your area for the first half of November. As always, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the leading law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They offer a free consultation and policy reviews. You got nothing to lose. You get damage of any kind, check them out. It's leanomnilaw.com if you would like more information. As always, love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. You just want to drop a high. I appreciate that as well. So there is our tropical wave, and it is being fed moisture from our monsoon trough in the southern side of Central America. So you have just a lot of lift in the atmosphere in the Western Caribbean overall. So showers and storms are very prolific today with some heavier rain too. We have a cold front that is moving into portions of the northern Bahamas and the northern sides of the Yucatan. It's going to stall out, and along that boundary, we get the opportunity for some heftier rain developing in the next couple of days. And we still have a brisk easterlies here in the eastern side of the area to provide us with some fast-moving showers. Let's get into where we have the most impactful weather for today, and that's going to be in portions of the western side of the Caribbean. We're going to start in the Cayman Islands, where Grand Cayman earlier today had an over 30-mile-an-hour wind gust. We've had some healthy showers and storms in this area. It's been pretty widespread. Pretty good lightning as well. It's not just some tropical downpours. There's a lot of lift and instability in the atmosphere as well. So if you live in Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, you've had some of this rain, let us know in the comments section below. These showers and storms will continue deep into this Monday and through portions of Tuesday as well. Now this wave is elongated from north to south, so some of the heavier rain is just beginning to spread into the coastal sections of places like Honduras and Nicaragua. They've been more widespread today over Costa Rica and Panama, where flood warnings continue. Unfortunately, we continue to see vigorous action here with the monsoon trough and the enhancement from the tropical wave. So from Panama City up towards San Jose, portions of these areas, again, flooding continues here. Now, as we go a little bit further off towards the west, showers and storms will become a little bit more widespread, northern sides of Honduras, the Bay Islands, coastal Guatemala and Belize, but the air is also a little bit drier here. So when you see on the visible satellite imagery, this is struggling a little bit to get to the west with all that moisture. It's going to feed in as we get towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe early on Thursday. But when we look at the water vapor imagery, you can see on the doorstep, all of this red is that drier air. So, you get as far north as Merida and Campeche, Cancun and Cozumel here in Quintana Roo, and it's just going to be a drier overall forecast. A little bit farther south, Tulum, especially the Che, Tumal area south towards Belize City, Dangrija area. Again, better opportunity for some showers and storms, but they're just not going to be as widespread as what we're seeing right now in the Cayman Islands and areas off towards the east. Let's talk about what's happening today in an area that really doesn't need to see a lot more rain, and that's going to be in Jamaica. Obviously, recovery efforts continue post-Hurricane Melissa, and it's going to be that way for many, many days and months ahead. We are getting a few showers and storms on the western side of the island. I know we need to break the heat in a couple of spots, but when recovery efforts continue in earnest like they are still as of right now, we don't need there to be additional heavy rain and flooding concerns. Some scattered showers and isolated rumble of thunder, portions of Hanover, Westmoreland parishes, on over towards St. James. So from Montego, Beta, Lucy, Negril, Savlamar. Again, isolated, but there's been some of that, mainly in the western side of the island. Now, again, this is an update. It's hard to provide, but I want to talk about this real quickly. We continue to get information in on the number of deaths in association with Hurricane Melissa, and that death toll now is over 60, and the news is still trickling in. Unfortunately, these numbers are likely to climb, but I do want to point out that in Jamaica, the death toll is now 32, but when we look at the pictures and the video of the devastation, know that this was a high-end Category 5 hurricane, and it had EF5 tornado winds, basically through the western third of the island. The fact that the fatality count is 32, it's horrible to have just one, but this number tells me, and it could have been a lot higher, based on the damage that was produced and the flash flooding that occurred as well, that many folks got the messaging early and they heeded the advice and they found the safest shelter that they possibly could. It's horrible to have one death, but that 32 represents that the messaging is getting out. And I've had so many heartfelt messages from you, and I appreciate all of that, either via our comments or sending me emails. And I promise I'm going to respond to each and every one of them. But it means a lot for you guys to let me know that, you know, some of the coverage we did here at Meteo Mundo helped you guys prepare for that storm and the worst case scenario that unfortunately came. Haiti has had some massive flooding. They've had at least 30 deaths. And again, that number is likely to climb. The Dominican Republic has also had at least 4 deaths because of the flooding as well. And even down in Panama, they have had 2 deaths. So again, over 60 deaths. And hopefully that number doesn't go any higher, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. And obviously our thoughts continue to be with all of those who have been impacted by that massive storm. Showers and thunderstorms are breaking out over portions of Cuba for today. Drier air is over portions of the Bahamas at this point in time. But this frontal boundary that I mentioned with the drier air is going to stall out in the northern side of the Bahamas. And along that boundary will be a focal point for additional showers to develop starting tomorrow in places like Grand Bahama and the Abacos and New Providence and other areas of northern and the northwest side of the Bahamas. But until that boundary stalls, we've had a bit of a fresh breeze and we've had drier air coming in, and it's a beautiful late shot from our live camera here in central Eleuthera, Governor's Harbor. Nothing but a few thin, high, wispy clouds across the area for this Monday. Back on over towards Hispaniola. It's good to see there being some drier air in place right now. We've had a couple of spotty showers, but in general, the rain has been less for today. Significant flood advisories and warnings continue for the southwest side of the island, including the Santo Domingo area. Hopefully that will be allowed to expire soon. We're getting some drier air to come in. It's not a completely dry forecast for Hispaniola, but it's ultimately been a little bit drier lately. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, fresh breeze, a couple of passing showers here. Again, we still have our easterly trade winds lifting a little bit of moisture in place. There's a very weak trough that has moved through the eastern side of our area, just aiding in a few more showers and storms out there. And after what's going to be a fairly quiet next couple of days, there is more moisture coming in from the main development region of the Atlantic. Now look, it's November this time of the year. These waves typically don't develop this far east, but it is going to throw more moisture back into the area, and we'll talk about that. Locally, some scattered showers could lift from some moisture south and east of Trinidad and Tobago across the area late tonight, overnight, and throughout portions of Tuesday. You know, and overall, rain chances will be okay in our areas here, like Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Martin and St. Bart's and Saba, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, Antigua, Montserrat. But ultimately, these showers will be quick in passing, and I don't expect to be a lot of rain overall the next couple of days for Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia South towards Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada as well. Beautiful, again, this time of the year. We're getting close to sunset here as I record, so a live look outside to Corinne, St. Lucia. Again, just a few fair passing clouds at the hour. Not a bad afternoon at all. We'll swing over to our friends of the ABC Islands. We've had, again, brisk winds from time to time for today, but very limited moisture in place. So when you look at this, absolutely picture perfect. Let me get myself off camera. Near sunset this really late afternoon this time of the year from the Eagle Beach area, Oranjestad. Again, just picture perfect. Sun going down near the horizon. I mean, you know, this is on every postcard you see in the Caribbean, and what a fantastic shot there. Friends, as we move on to your island by island forecast and look at the tropics, thanks for taking a quick second, hitting that like button. Appreciate all of our new subscribers, all of our old subscribers as well. Thank you for sharing this channel with your family and friends. Now, real quick note. Over the weekend, if you live in Central Florida, the Meteo Mundo team was at the 11th annual Egg Fest at Wekiva Island. It is a charity food event, basically. You pay to get in, but you run around and you get some free great food. And the Meteo Mundo booth had what we call corn ribs. And apparently this was a big hit. A lot of folks wanted to know the recipe. And so we were handing out cards where you could scan the QR code and get links to both our Central Florida Weather Channel and here at Meteo Mundo. And we teased that we would give you guys the recipes if you tuned in. Well, I will drop a pinned comment on this video for the link to that recipe to corn ribs. Check it out yourself, even if you didn't go to our booth, because this is probably something that you might want to try yourself as well. But for those who did join our channel by catching us this weekend at the Egg Fest, we appreciate your support and welcome to the channel. All right, so let's get into the forecast, what I expect here for you guys over the next couple of days, and then we're going to look at your island by island forecast and then deep dive into the tropical outlook. Because look, I'm telling you right now, it is, early November, but we are still in hurricane season, and there's an area that I want to talk about coming up in a minute. This tropical wave will continue to push off towards the west, so we'll continue to see good rain chances for places like the Cayman Islands, Panama, Costa Rica, portions of Nicaragua, Honduras. But as the wave gets into our front with the drier air, it is going to be a battleground, and we could see some heavier rain from time to time, but ultimately the rain should thin a bit as it encounters that drier air right along the Caribbean coast of Quintana Roo. So, there'll be some scattered rain chances and maybe even a rumble of thunder for Cancun and Cozumel, with a slightly better chance for places like Belize City, and even a slightly higher chance for Utila, Roatan, and Guanaja, especially tomorrow and early on Wednesday before it fades out again. But just not the persistent heavier rain that I expect off towards the east. Now, the good news is the axis of that tropical moisture is moving out of Jamaica, right? So we're tailing off the rain chances. I expect there to be widely scattered showers and a rumble of thunder island-wide the next 3 afternoons. Nothing outrageously high. Hopefully some spots that could still use a little bit of rain or want to cool things off, but aren't in the throes of the most vigorous recovery efforts from Melissa. We'll get some of those showers, and those areas that just don't need to see any more rain whatsoever will stay dry. But overall, the rain chance through Thursday doesn't look to be exceptionally high across the island. Scattered showers will redevelop over Cuba, especially on the western sides. Again, our boundary is stalling out, and you can see the moisture developing here off of the Yucatan and then working its way north and east across the southern sides of Florida, including the Keys, Miami, Fort Lauderdale areas, and then sweeping across the northern and the northwest side of the Bahamas. So rain chances will improve a bit with scattered showers out there for Freeport, Lucaya, across Grand Bahama, and Bimini and the Abacos and Andros, Nassau, New Providence, and Eleuthera, even back down towards Cat Island and Long Island and Exuma. We can see a couple of scattered showers here or there. Again, some of that moisture drifting to the south, with a few showers back towards Turks and Caicos as well. It's nice to again see nothing appreciably high rainfall-wise across Haiti and the Dominican Republic in the next couple of days. It doesn't mean that rain chances won't improve over the next 72 hours in a few areas, but it's going to be more isolated than widespread. And I just hope that all of the rain and the flooding that we've seen will continue to recede as we continue to dry out a bit here as well. There's nothing prominent in the next 3 days that I expect across Hispaniola. But again, it's not completely dry. Same situation for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Again, this trough moves through, more than likely for places like Anegada and Virgin Gorda and Yost Van Dyke and St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John and Vieques and Culebra. Your best rain chances in the next 3 days is tomorrow. It's on Tuesday, right? And then rain chances will fade a little bit as that trough moves away. But again, this trough is much more of a localized feature than a widespread tropical wave, which really has, hundreds and 100 miles of, of lift in the atmosphere. This is just a quick little disturbance that's working its way through. Puerto Rico will see the same situation. I expect, again, places like Antigua, Barbuda, more than likely to have the highest rain chance for Tuesday, and then fading off a bit as well. We're still going to have vigorous easterly winds. There'll still be some good breezes up to 20, 25 miles an hour. Seas could be elevated to 2 to 3 meters from time to time, 6 to 9 feet, but more than likely not going to have a lot of widespread marine issues here. Some of the best rain chances will actually be in places like Guadalupe and Dominica over the next couple days, and that'll be, 50% chance. That might hold on a little bit higher later in the week than some other island areas. And then you go farther south towards Martinique, St. Lucia and Barbados, SVG and Grenada. Again, we could see some rain overnight in some of these areas, but not everywhere. More dry hours and locations than wet. But again, a little bit of that energy just southeast of TNT, as I mentioned earlier. Let me pause this real quick. Again, I mentioned there's some tropical moisture just south of the islands. Watch how that could come in overnight or through portions of your Tuesday. Better rain chances, potentially Grenada, especially TNT, compared to other areas to the north, but even those rain chances will fade a bit in most of those areas beginning on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, down the road, as we get towards the end of the week and the weekend, here comes that next slug of moisture. And that's when I'll be monitoring again to just continue to increase rain chances after a lull midweek for, let's say, the Friday time period into the next weekend ahead as well. Scattered showers are likely to develop across places like Nueva Esparta. In the ABC Islands, after a couple of dry days, I expect there to be a slightly better chance for some showers and even isolated thunderstorm on Thursday. So here's what it looks like for you guys island by island. Northwest Bahamas, again, improving rain conditions through tomorrow. More scattered or isolated Wednesday, Thursday, and even a little bit lower central and southeast Bahamas. Turks and Caicos, again, many dry hours and locations, but a few spotty showers are possible. Best chance for rain, Cuba, will be on the western side of the island near Havana. That's good because the eastern side's still dealing with the rain aftermath of Melissa near Santiago de Cuba and Guantanamo, places like that. Let's keep those areas dry. Cayman Islands rain chances are still very high tomorrow, but will then fade a bit as the tropical wave moves off towards the west, where places like Belize City and Cancun and Cozumel will see improved rain conditions from time to time, but even that won't last very long. We're back to dry conditions mainly on Thursday. Just a 30% chance the next 3 days in Jamaica. Hopefully I don't have to raise that anytime soon. Dominican Republic, 40 tomorrow, 30 on Wednesday, Thursday. Puerto Rico, 40 tomorrow, then fades a bit as well. And again, as I mentioned, your highest rain chances for the Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, likely to be Tuesday. Some areas hold on to a decent rain chance Wednesday, Thursday. Others fade a little bit quicker, like St. Kitts and Nevis. Bermuda will see a few showers tomorrow, then mainly dry Wednesday, Thursday. Barbados, excuse me. Oh, did I go backwards? Oh, did I miss a graphic? Hang on. 1, 2, 3. I missed a graphic. I apologize. For the rest of the ABC Islands, for the rest of the Lesser Antilles, right, you're going to see about 40, 50, 60% chance Montserrat, areas like that. What did I do with that graphic? All right, hang on a second. I can fix this on the fly. This is what I love. What did I do? Did I double that one up? I'm even like asking myself this question. All right, A, B, there's Jamaica. I doubled up. All right, hang on a second. I can fix this real quick. Or maybe I can't, I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, I love doing this on the fly. But that's okay. This is the fun of recording as if it's live. Boom, I got it. Thumbs up. Okay, for the rest of the ABC, for the rest of the Lesser Antilles, what am I saying? Oh my God. Antigua Barbuda, 50% chance tomorrow, 30 Wednesday, 20 on Thursday. So again, fading a bit. Montserrat, Guadeloupe, these are the areas that I mentioned, likely to be a little bit higher Wednesday and then falling off a bit. But Guadeloupe, I think, has a good rain chance, just kind of in the middle of where all that tropical moisture is going to be. Dominica is a little bit lower, and then we fade a little bit quicker. Martinique, St. Lucia, SVG. Now to this graphic. Barbados, more isolated the next couple of days. Grenada, a 30% chance. Again, slightly higher in TNT. That moisture is just a little bit better down there, and will kind of stream over the islands from time to time. Suriname and Guyana with a scattered rain chance. Not a lot of rain in Nueva Esparta. ABC Islands are relatively dry until Thursday. Hey, it's finally time to get to the ABC Islands, where we have a 40% chance there as well. All right, wave heights and directions look like this. Still very vigorous waves, fairly active through a lot of the western Atlantic basin. That will begin to alleviate itself some. We're going to freshen up some of the winds across portions of the Eastern Caribbean in the next couple of days. Then down the road, it's going to take a little while, but down the road, we're going to have another very strong cold front coming into the southern sides of the Gulf, but we're also going to see the monsoon trough get active in about a 7 to 10 day time frame here. Watch things get a little bit more active in this area, so be monitoring that for you guys. As far as rainfall totals go, again, could be quite impressive as the tropical wave moves off towards the west. I mentioned the higher totals, portions of the Bay Islands through a lot of the eastern sides of the Caribbean. And again, once this next front stalls, late this week and into this weekend, it could provide extra rain chances for our northwest areas. We could still see some heavier rain across portions of the Bahamas. And there's your decent rain chance the farther south that you go in the Windward Islands overall. But again, most of that rain is passing. And even though showers will be fairly elevated in nature the next several days, the rain totals should be fairly sparse in most locations. So now let's take a look at the tropics, my friends. We knew that when Melissa came through, the sea surface temperatures here were still 29, 30, even 31 degrees Celsius, mid upper 80s Fahrenheit. Yes, there has been some cold water upwelling just south of Jamaica because of what Melissa did. But where is the warmest weather out of this entire map? It's not going to be the Gulf, getting colder, cold fronts coming in, not the Western Atlantic Basin for the most part through the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. The Caribbean is still overall very warm, but it is the Western Caribbean that you see those numbers that are the highest. Again, a lot of 30, even 31 degrees Celsius areas. Here's the thing. This is also the time of the year where the monsoon trough, which is very active in the southern sides of Central America, begins to try and lift north a little bit. And there can be some interaction with tropical disturbances and waves like I just showed you and this monsoon trough, especially as it tries to kind of move up a little bit farther north in latitude. So always the first couple of weeks of November, I have my eyes on the Western Caribbean. And I got to tell you something, the models, both the European and the GFS from time to time, the last 3 or 4 days, have hinted at least a low chance for some weak potential tropical development in the western side of the Caribbean in about a 7 to 10 day time frame. At this point in time, that's as far as I'm going to go, okay? The European model actually picked up on it first about 4 days ago. It's backed off a little bit, and the GFS ensembles are pushing that potential time frame a little bit farther out in time. Remember, I told you, we're never going to chase things, but I do want to show you what's going to be happening here. So as we get to this time next week, we're likely to see this monsoon trough begin to interact with additional moisture in a disturbed area in the Western Caribbean, which could throw, if nothing else, a lot more rain into the western third of the Caribbean. All of Central America, the Cayman Islands, unfortunately Jamaica, and unfortunately portions of Cuba as well could be in store for widespread heavier rain. But you can also note that, remember, with this monsoon trough, it's an area of low pressure. So you're going to have some natural inherent spin there, and it is a very, common area for when things want to try and develop, if they do, in the Western Caribbean this time of the year, for that to be kind of the zone that it could possibly do so. If I show you guys what the wind profile looks like about 10 days out from here on the GFS model, let me just show you a single frame. You can start to see these areas in white. These are sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. You still don't have any big core low-level center, but obviously this is a fairly large, significant disturbance in the Western Caribbean. The bottom line is it's simply monitor mode, but I wanted to point it out because it has been about 4 days in a row for either both the GFS and the European or one of the two models to hint at potential development in the Western Caribbean as we get towards next week. And again, the cutoff most years to see this development is the second week of November. Things really fall off quickly, but that map that I just showed you, sea surface temperature wise, certainly can still support development even this late in the season. Friends, you can follow us across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, the easiest way to do that, it's going to be myMediaMundo@gmail.com. As always, if you have a question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. While you're down there, thank you for liking and subscribing as well. And please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lane Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. Wind, hail, hurricane damage, flood damage, they can walk you through the insurance claim process. Check them out, leanomelaw.com, for more information. Friends, have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with the latest forecast right here at Meteo Mundo.